Welcome back to Fun, Fierce, Unfuckwithable. I'm Alisa Davis, and I am so excited you're here. This podcast isn't just about me, it's about you. It's about remembering and reclaiming your true self before the conditioning, beyond the fear, underneath the noise of the mind. It's about breaking free from the patterns that keep you stuck and stepping into your power fully, unapologetically, unfuckwithably. If you recall, in episode 21, we cracked open the real-life process of making big decisions using human design, specifically exploring manifestors and generator inner authority. Today, we're continuing that conversation, this time through the eyes of projector, the reflector, and the manifesting generator. Once again, we're not hesitating, we're honoring. We're not polling the crowd, we're following the pulse of what's true, because today's episode, like last week's, is all about what happens when a big-ass decision lands in your lap, and you want to make it in full alignment with who you really are. And like last week, I'll take you behind the scenes of the same real-life decision I had to make, and then walk you through how that same moment might unfold through the unique lenses of each human design inner authority, projector, reflector, manifesting generator. When you know how to trust your inner authority, everything changes. No more spinning in your head. No more waiting for clarity that never comes. No more outsourcing your power to someone else's opinion. Let's talk about what it actually looks like to say yes or no from truth. And just a reminder, if you're new to the Ultimate Freedom Experience, Human Design, Kundalini Yoga, or Ayurveda, don't worry. These concepts might feel unfamiliar at first, but over time, they'll start to click, and I invite you to stick with it. Explore at your own pace, and most importantly, have fun with it. You don't need to understand everything all at once. Just take what resonates and let curiosity and wonder lead the way. So, grab your tea, coffee, ginger turmeric juice, or whatever fuels your clarity and settle in. Or take me with you on your favorite walk. This episode is for those of you standing at a crossroads, staring down a big decision, wondering how the hell to choose. This is for the ones who've been maybe second guessing, crowdsourcing their clarity, spinning in circles in the mind, when the truth has always been inside you. This is the episode that reminds you don't need advice. You don't need a pros and cons list. You just need to listen to the voice that's always been real, your inner authority. And today's episode, like I shared last week, is especially close to my heart because I'm bringing you behind the scenes of a real decision I just made. A big fucking one. One that could shift the entire direction of my business, one way or the other. Now, here's the twist. I didn't make that decision with a pros and cons list. I didn't journal or manifest it into existence. And I sure as hell didn't make it on someone else's timeline. I made it the way I was designed to make it, through my manifestor inner authority. And let me tell you, it wasn't linear. It wasn't fast. And it definitely wasn't comfortable, but it was true. And that's what this episode is about. We're diving deep into how the projector, reflector, and manifesting generator energy types are uniquely wired to make big decisions. Big decisions about courses, investments, travel, maybe relationships, job offers, money, and how honoring your authority changes everything. Last week, I shared exactly how my own manifestor inner authority process unfolded around saying yes to a powerful new TEDx style program I just joined. This week, we'll take that same decision and walk through how it might feel for the projector, the reflector, and the manifesting generator. And we're going to call them Mani-Gens for short. This is real life human design in action, not theory. Because when you understand how your unique system is designed to operate, you stop forcing, you stop doubting, and you start trusting the wisdom already built into your body. Let's get into it. Okay, how did I make the decision? Well, now I'm a projector. I'm not here to hustle or generate my own momentum. I'm not here to initiate like a manifester. My strategy is to wait for the invitation, to recognize where I'm seen and valued, and then check in with my inner authority to feel whether my body says yes or no. And as a splenic projector, my inner authority comes from the spleen center, one of the most oldest, most primal centers in the body. It's the center of instinct, intuition, and real-time guidance. It doesn't come from the gut like a generator. It doesn't ride the emotional wave like an emotional authority. And it doesn't wait 28 days like a reflector. And it whispers. It speaks once, in the now, quiet, subtle, immediate. So I'm going about my life, and someone I respect sends me a message. Hey, Alisa, I think you'd be perfect for this TEDx program. You have such a powerful story and presence. You really should consider it. Boom. That's an invitation. And I pause, not to think, not to journal, not to ask my coach or poll the crowd. I pause to listen deep in the body. Did I feel a quiet, instinctual yes? A flicker of recognition? A sense of safety or clarity? Or did I feel contraction, static, a flutter of discomfort? The spleen doesn't speak in fireworks. It speaks in resonance. A quiet knowing that says, this is right or this is off. So I get the invitation and my body says yes. I might feel a gentle pull forward. My breath maybe deepens. My posture lifts. The spleen speaks and I hear it. And then the mind kicks in because I'm a projector and I've been conditioned to prove, to keep up, to say yes so I don't get left behind. And this TEDx course, it's expensive. It's a big energy investment, a bold declaration. So the mind starts spinning. Can I afford this? Will this burn me out? Do I have what it takes? But the spleen already answered. And if you didn't hear it, or if you ignored it, I might try to force the decision. I might crowdsource clarity, make a pros and cons list, sleep on it, overthink it. But that's not how splenic authority works. It's now or never, yes or no, instinctual, intuitive, not logical, not emotional. So in this story, I trusted it. I heard the yes, it didn't scream, but it was enough. And because it came from the spleen and not fear, not pressure, it was clean. That yes didn't mean I pushed. It meant I moved with wisdom. Slowly, deliberately, I said, I'm in. I protected my energy. I built space into my calendar. I set boundaries around how I'd show up because I'm not here to run or hustle. I'm here to guide, to see, to bring depth from a place of calm and clarity. And had the spleen said no, I would have let it go. No guilt, no proving, just a quiet pivot, trusting the next invitation would come. And if the offer came again, I'd listen again. The spleen is always in the now. That's how splenic projectors make decisions. We don't push, we don't wait too long, we listen, we feel, we move. And we trust that the first whisper is the one that's true. Okay, so now, how would I have made the decision if I were a reflector with lunar authority? First, let's remember this. Reflectors are the rarest type in human design, just 1% of the population, and they're here to mirror the health of the people and environments around them. Their superpower isn't in fast clarity or fixed energy. It's in deep wisdom that comes from being attuned to the subtle, to the patterns, to the shifts in the collective and the self. A reflector's decision-making doesn't come from the gut or the heart or the spleen. It comes from riding the full 28-day lunar cycle. So, back to the TEDx decision. If I were a reflector, I wouldn't have signed up the day after the discovery call. I wouldn't have shouted, "This is my dream," and registered a week later. I would have said something more like, "This sounds exciting. I want to feel into it. I'll need time." Not stalling, honoring. Not indecision, wisdom in motion. The reflector path to clarity is slow, not because they're confused, but because they need to experience the decision from multiple angles, environments, and emotional states. They need to see how it lives inside different moons, different moods, different settings. Over the 28 days, I, as a reflector, might revisit the course page several times. One day I might feel a deep yes while watching the video on the homepage. Another day I might feel fear or contraction about being seen on the big stage. Another day it might feel completely neutral. And that's the point. It's not about any one day's clarity. It's about the pattern that reveals itself across time. I talk to people I trust, not to get advice, but to hear my own voice reflected in the conversation. I might walk in nature, explore new spaces, journal, even travel a little bit if I could. Each day would become another mirror showing me a new facet of the truth. And throughout the whole process, I wouldn't rush. If someone tried to pressure me with an early bird deadline or limited spots, that would likely push me away, not pull me in. Reflectors need spaciousness to come into alignment. If it's meant for them, it'll still be there when they're ready. And if it's not, something even better will appear on the path. As the moon moves through each gate and center in my chart, I'd be watching, not judging. Is this course still calling me? Is my energy rising or draining when I imagine it? Is my desire steadying or dissolving? Somewhere near the end of the cycle, the pattern would become clear, not from logic, not from emotion, from lived consistency across time. And only then would I move, because that's how reflectors know it's right, not from a spark or a gut hit or a jolt of instinct, but from the quiet, embodied clarity that endures through the shifting tides. And when a reflector chooses from that place, it's not just a yes. It's a moon-blessed move. And that carries a kind of power like no other. Okay. So, how would I have made the same decision if I were a manifesting generator, a Manigen, with emotional and sacral authority? Let's start here. Manigens are multi-passionate fireballs. They move fast, skip steps, loop back, correct course, and still arrive first. But when it comes to big decisions, especially life-changing ones like signing up for a TEDx course, they have to slow it down, because here's the twist. Around 50% of the population has emotional authority. And that means No matter what other centers are defined, clarity doesn't live in the moment. It lives in the wave. And for emotional manifesting generators, it's a two-part dance. Part one, ride the emotional wave. There are different types of emotional waves: spontaneous, tribal, individual, abstract, but no matter the shape, the wisdom is the same. You don't decide on a high and you don't decide on a low. You wait for emotional neutrality. So let's say I'm a Manny Jen on the TEDx Discovery call. I feel the surge, the thrill. My whole body lights up. I'm like, this is it. This is my big break. I'm in. But that's not the time. That's not the moment to commit. That's the emotional high. And while it's electric, it's not trustworthy for a real yes or no. So I leave the call. I let it move through me. The joy, the butterflies, the buzz. And then the fear, the doubt, the overwhelm. I don't push any of it away. Maybe later that night or the next day, I drop. This is crazy. It's too expensive. I'm not ready. What if I freeze on the stage? Also not the moment to commit. I wait. I journal. I walk. I cry. I rest. And eventually, if I'm honoring my design, I wake up one morning and something feels different. Neutral. Clear. Calm. No fireworks, no dread, just steadiness. That's when part two kicks in, the sacral response. Now that my emotional wave has brought me to solid ground, I can ask my gut, the sacral center, directly, do I want to do this TEDx course? And then I listen. Not for a thought, not for reason, for a sound, for a feeling, and if it's a yes, and if it's a no. And if the sacral says yes in the moment of clarity, then I move. No second guessing, no overthinking, no spin. And if the sacral says no, I honor that too, even if 3 days ago I swore it was my path. Even if my coach is dangling a discount. Even if my mind is screaming, we'll lose the spot. This was our chance. No, that's not the truth. That's pressure. Emotional manifesting generators don't make decisions from pressure, panic, or people pleasing. They wait. They ride. They ask again. And when the wave settles and the gut speaks with fire, watch out. Because when a Manny Gen moves from emotional clarity and sacral alignment, they don't just show up, they ignite. That full body yes, it lights fires everywhere they go. So let me ask you this. If you're a projector with splenic authority, are you giving yourself enough stillness to actually hear the quiet whisper of your spleen? Do you honor the instantaneous knowing in your body or override it with logic or fear? Are you mistaking intuition for emotion, logic, or future-based planning? Or do you trust your instinctive, intuitive knowing in the now? If you're a manifesting generator with an emotional and sacral authority, are you riding the wave, the emotional wave, all the way to calm clarity before you ask your sacral for guidance? Are you confusing emotional highs and lows with truth? Or are you waiting for the neutral ground before making moves? Once you do reach neutrality, do you have the courage to trust your guts, yes or no, no matter what it says? If you're a reflector with lunar authority, do you give yourself the full lunar cycle, or at least enough time to see the truth emerge? Are you surrounding yourself with people and environments that help you see clearly, or that cloud your reflection? When pressure builds to decide quickly, can you stand in the power of your pause? Now you know. You don't need a spreadsheet. You don't need a psychic. You don't even need advice. You need to follow the compass that was built into your body before you ever took your first breath. The one that lives in your sacral, in your spleen, in your solar plexus, your rhythm with the moon. That's your inner decision-making authority. It's not a metaphor. It's not a vibe. It's a real, tangible, cellular intelligence that will never lie to you. You just have to learn how to hear it. And even more than that, you have to be willing to follow it, especially when it doesn't make sense to anyone else. Because that's the whole point of living in alignment with your design. Not to be liked, not to be palatable, not to be logical, but to be true, to be the truest version of you before the noise, before the pressure, before the conditioning. To trust what's inside you more than what's expected of you. To finally let your body, your energy, your truth lead. Because when you live from your inner authority, you stop shape-shifting to fit someone else's mold. You stop leaking energy trying to figure it all out. You stop swimming upstream against your own design. And when you're truly living as you, your real life begins. Opportunities come with less chasing. Relationships deepen with less effort. The money, the timing, the right people, they all start to land. Not because you forced them, but because you were being you. That's what alignment really is. Not a performance, not perfection, but presence. And from that place, everything flows. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to Fun, Fierce, Unfuckwithable. If today's episode sparks something within you, share it with a friend or maybe leave a review. It means the world to me and it helps grow our community. And hey, maybe you'd rather not leave a review. If something simply just resonated, I would really love to hear your thoughts, insights, or maybe even your answers to the questions I asked. If you'd like to explore your own human design or Ayurvedic blueprint, head over to alisaufdavis.com, where you can download your free body graph chart or take the free dosha quiz to discover more about yourself. It's totally free, and it's a great first step to understand how you're uniquely wired. For more ways to connect, head over to alisaufdavis.com or write me at alisa@alisaufdavis.com. Check the link in the show notes. And let's get started. Until next time, remember this, my fun, fierce, unfuckwithable soul. You already are everything you seek. Trust in your own power. You've got this.